Hello from HW Group. The new Perseus function remote config is out. Let's take a look at it. There are two ways to configure the Perseus device, one of which is the new remote config. You can configure the device if you are connected to the same LAN, either directly or through a VPN. The other method is remote config, which benefit from the connection between the device and the portal. The remote config interface in the portal is identical to the device web GUI used for local configuration of the Perseus. This makes using remote config very easy. Let's take a look. This is the Perseus accessed on the LAN by typing its IP address into the browser's address bar. This is remote config in the portal, and it has the same interface. Accessing a device connected to the same network is simple. You can just use the device's web GUI. However, there is also a way to access a device that is not on the local network without using a VPN. Why avoid using a VPN? For a non-IT person, setting up a VPN is not easy, and negotiating this request with an IT department can be long and exhausting. It is much easier to use remote config. You might ask why adding the Perseus to the portal is not sufficient and what the added value of remote config is. There are many tasks that are better configured via the web GUI. For example, replacing sensors. While someone must physically connect the new sensor locally, the configuration is managed in the GUI. Another example is firmware updates, which offer full control when performed via the GUI. For the Perseus unit with an LTE modem, combining remote config with LTE means you can fully configure your device over the LTE connection. However, the initial setup of remote config must be performed via the LAN. LTE can serve as a backup to the LAN. Perseus automatically switches to LTE if internet access over the LAN is lost. Alternatively, LTE can be the device's only connection, depending on your use case. Let's demonstrate this LTE functionality. We have the LTE modem set up in the Perseus unit, and we have also configured remote config. Now, we simply disconnect the Ethernet cable, disconnecting the device from the LAN. If we go to the SensDesk portal and open the remote config for our Perseus unit, we can see that it is available. The connection is now established via LTE, as the device has switched to this connection automatically. Remote config works on any Perseus device. All models are supported, but it is important to have the latest firmware installed. When configuring the connection to the portal, you must use the HTTPS portal address, port 443. While the portal normally works over HTTP, remote config requires HTTPS. In the same section where the device is added to the portal, the remote config checkbox must be enabled. The whole setup is described in detail in the video about remote config setup. That's all for today's video. Thank you for your attention.